He's gonna make it clear.
Amen.
Did you know? Come on, listen here. Did you know?
Hello and welcome to the Did You Know Show. My name is Brian Green. The Did You Know Show is centered around connecting people to home, community, and business resources that you ordinarily wouldn't know about. Today, we have a very special group with us, a group that is really close to my heart, called Collective Success Network. Collective Success Network is comprised of first-generation college students in our Philadelphia area. With me today is the two co-founders. We have Sway Kwok and Nancy Lee. Sway Kwok is the social entrepreneur. She is the founding chair and co-executive director of Collective Success Network. She is also the author of the book, Calm Clarity: How to Use the Science to Rewire Your Brain for Greater Wisdom, Fulfillment, and Joy. She's also the CEO and founder of Calm Clarity, a social enterprise that teaches leadership development and to people across all backgrounds, from inner city teens to executives of leader companies. Also, we have Nancy Lee, who is a co-founder and co-executive director. She's originally from Brooklyn. First in her family to go to college, University of Virginia. She has an MBA from NYU. Pharmaceutical marketing consultant. Ladies, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Great. Thank you so much for having us here.
Oh, wow. So this is our second annual retreat at Uncle B's Farm. And you guys have brought some students from Temple, University of Penn, and Drexel. But can you tell me about Collective Success?
Sure. So the whole idea of collective success is that first-generation college students need to have more support and mentorship to graduate college. Across the city, we know that 24% of high school students are enrolling in college, but only 10% are graduating with a college degree. That means 6 out of 10 of them are falling through the cracks or leaving college without a degree, possibly settled in debt. And that's not acceptable, that all these students who have the potential to get into college aren't finishing this marathon. And why not? And it's because when you're the first in your family or the first generation in your family to go to college, you don't have mentors or role models. Your parents can't help you navigate the difficulties of college. You're on your own, you're independent, you're 18 years old, but there's no one holding your hand in college either, right? You have to make sense of this whole new world on your own. And most people from first generation college backgrounds come from low income communities where they're not used to asking for help. They don't know how to be an agent with big systems, big institutions, and oftentimes the financial aid offices, the information's hard to understand. Teachers have high expectations, but they don't know how to walk students through doing college level papers or things for the first time. And oftentimes the 4 out of 10 that do graduate, they still remain underemployed because all the time they're in college, they're focusing on homework, they're focusing on grades, but they don't really understand that that's not how you get a job.
Right.
Jobs come from having a wide social network, being in the flow of information for where the opportunities are, getting people to refer you and recommend you for positions at different companies, knowing how to get internships, knowing how to navigate through the job interview process. And if none of your parents, aunts, uncles have been professionals before, you're doing it all on your own, and students often have misconceptions or are uninformed about what it takes to get through those hoops. And so what we wanted to do was rally professionals and businesses across the city to step up into that void and provide the mentorship, be role models, and show the students, you know, many of us were first-generation college students ourselves. We learned all the lessons the hard way. If we can pay it forward so that they don't have to reinvent the wheel, then their process is much less bumpy, and they're more able to learn from what we learned and then be much more successful.
So today, today and tomorrow, I'm hosting a retreat. And Nancy, there's mentorship involved in the retreat. Can you speak to that?
Yeah. So I think I will even take a step back first. And what makes Collective Success so unique network, besides the whole helping college students, that we actually enable student leadership.
Okay.
So we're actually asking Temple, Drexel, and UPenn to find student leaders who want to establish campus chapters, and then they will then find the students and their peers to say, hey, there's availability of mentorship, because us going on campus is not possible. Like, we're professionals, we're volunteers right now. So I think the power is really the students finding their own leadership and then activating their peers. And the peer-to-peer community is just so important. We really want to build a community. So back to the mentorship. Our mentorship is also interesting because we work with local community business partners. So I think you'll talk to Lauren and Steve later on.
Right.
And they actually, Lauren works at Comcast.
Okay.
right? And so the whole idea is to create these local relationships with businesses. So we have partnership. We have mentors coming from Comcast, Pico. We're going to work with EY, and then we have another company called RSM. So we would love to kind of grow that network so then these professionals who either have been first gens themselves or they haven't, but they want to pay it forward. They want to really have that meeting with the students and help them along. How did they get their first job? How was the recruiting process like? What does it mean to work at Comcast? Even come visit the Comcast building. That's amazing. They have a beautiful facility, and sometimes as a first gen, we've never been to an office before, right?
As you know, for me, I'm sort of a first generation college student because I went to college at the same time my mother and my grandmother did.
Amazing.
And so they were non-traditional students, and by the way, their grades were always better than mine. But oftentimes in my conversations with Sway, one of the first initial conversations that we talked about was dealing with your inner critic. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Well, it's been documented that first-generation college students often suffer from what people call the imposter syndrome, where you feel like everyone else knows what they're doing. I'm the only one who's clueless. I don't belong here. And sooner or later, the professors will figure it out. The administrators will figure it out. And so a lot of times when the students aren't, they don't have an inner coach. They don't have parents and the community members saying, you can do this. Of course you can do it. If you have around you a lot of negativity, you internalize that negativity eventually. And when setbacks happen, right, students may feel like this is hopeless. How am I supposed to get through all of these hoops, right? And some people, you know, tell them that they can't do it. And so that's part of the reason there's a high dropout rate, because students have such strong inner critics and they don't have enough coaches and positivity in their life to encourage them, like, here's how you solve the problem. It's not unsolvable. All of these things can be managed. These setbacks are not that big a deal in the big scheme of things. And that's why with the group mentorship program, within the discussion guides that we provide, we want them to talk about resilience. We want them, the mentors, to walk through how they dealt with adversity. So the students understand that no matter what background you come from, everyone has challenges, and it's about getting back up. It's about becoming aware of your inner critic and not letting it derail the rest of your life.
So for our viewers out there, whether they're potential students that want to participate in the program or they're potential mentors or even people that want to donate and support Collective Success Network, how do they do it?
Yeah, so great question. The first thing is that we have a website, and it's collectivesuccess.org. And once again, it's collectivesuccess.org, and there's just a host of information you can reach out to for our email, info@collectivesuccess.org. And we're actually kicking off our mentorship program.
Okay.
And it's coming up in the fall. Stephen Lauren's going to talk a bit more about it.
Okay.
So if you want to be a mentor, or for example, you might know of a college student who just went into any college. It doesn't have to come from Temple, UPenn, or Drexel. We're open to everyone. They come at any stage of their life. They don't have to be, we're open. We're not cohort-based. If they want to, then please encourage them to apply and join our email list, sign up. And that's, we also have Facebook. We have Instagram, and we have Twitter, and LinkedIn. So just join us on our social media. That's the best way to keep up to date.
Nancy and Sway, thank you. I'm going to bring you back later in the show. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Stephen and Laura, the mentors for Collective Success Network. Stay tuned.
Did you know?
Always Best Care specializes in helping seniors who wish to remain in their home but need assistance. Our flexible care programs vary from hourly to live-in. Simply put, we're there when you need us. And Always Best Care is a DPW-approved Medicaid provider. Call today and we'll meet with you to develop a personalized care plan. Always Best Care Senior Services. Doing more, caring more, and dedicated to exceeding your expectations. Always.
Did you know?
Welcome back to the Did You Know Show. My name is Brian Green. Today we're talking with some folks from Collective Success Network. As we continue the show, we have two of the mentors. We have Steve Water, who is a native of Linden, New Jersey, who moved back to Philadelphia area in the late 80s and considers it home. He recently retired after a rewarding 40-year career in higher education, working closely with undergraduate students from 1986 to 2017. He worked in the dean's office at Haverford College. Also joining us, is Lauren Nix. She's also a New Jersey native. She spent most of the last 10 years in Boston, attending Boston College and then Wayfair before moving back to the Philly area. She works in HR at Comcast in the Technology and Customer Experience Group. Lauren got involved with Collective Success in 2017 as a mentor and is now a co-chair of the mentorship program. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How you guys doing today?
Great.
Wonderful. Welcome to Uncle B's Farm. So you guys are the mentors. Tell me about it. Tell me why did you get involved? How did you get involved? And all that kind of thing. Lauren, start with you.
Sure. So I got involved last fall.
Okay.
So I've been with the program about a year. And I really got involved because I had just moved back to the Philadelphia area and really wanted to get involved with the community and learn a little bit more about it. So I found Collective Success through one of our diversity groups at Comcast.
Okay.
And I saw at the bottom of an email and it said, if you want to get involved and make a difference, sign up. So I applied, and then here I am.
Steve, how did you get involved?
Well, as you said, I retired in July 2017 after working with college students for 40 years.
God bless you.
Thanks. It's been great. It's a great experience. But I felt that, do the job the way it needed to be done, I think required a level of energy I found it harder and harder to sustain at my age. So to be fair to everyone, I thought it was time to move on. And after 6 months of self-indulgence, of just doing what I wanted when I wanted to do it, I realized, which I was not surprised by, that I miss students.
It's a really diverse group that we have here, and earlier in the show we had Sway and Nancy talking about, the first generation college student experience. And one of the things, you often, think about as a first generation college student is, what will happen if I do make it? If I do make it, what are my next steps? So part of your mentoring, today in particular, what are some of the topics that you guys are going to talk about?
I mean, I think that's one of the best ones. So I wasn't first gen, but when I remember, it's like my whole life, my goal was to get to college.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you get there, and then you're like, now what the heck do I
do? Right?
Like I've reached my life goal of the last 18 years. Now what do I do? So I think one of the things is helping students navigate that, but also letting them know that just because other people know what they want to do around you, you don't have to have all the answers. I had no idea what I wanted to do when I graduated. I basically fell into HR in a lucky circumstance, and it ended up being a great fit. But I have other friends who worked in consulting or, in an office job, and then they realized that's not what they wanted to do, and they completely pivoted and went in a different direction. So you don't have to have it all figured out when you are 18, 24, 30, or even 65.
Mm-hmm. Steve, you worked with students over multiple decades, and I got to think that, my question to you is, back in the 80s to fast forward to now, are you still getting the same kind of questions or the same kind of anxiety when you deal with college students on the undergraduate level?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, they're always the same issues of what do I need to do to succeed? How do I fit in? How do I feel a part of this community? Mm-hmm. How do I thrive? Those are questions and issues that every college students have faced for millennia.
Right.
Well, I'm not.
That's a dangerous word these days, right, millennials.
Right, for many years. But also, and one of the joys I've experienced was the increasing diversity of the student body at higher educational institutions in the States. And those students bring with them a whole host of issues that students from the 60s and 70s perhaps did not. I mean, they come with less social capital. The first generation students, low income students, they don't have some of the resources that the students of means have. And colleges, they were great at, I think over time, got better at identifying strong students and encouraging them to come to college, but weren't doing a very good job of helping them thrive once they got there. And identifying the issues that those particular students were challenged by.
I always tell the story, as I told it at the top of the show, I went to school the same time as my mother and my grandmother, courtesy of 1199C, Joseph Talbot Scholarship Fund. But non-traditional students, in a lot of ways, were kind of the anomaly back when I'm talking probably 30 plus years ago, just to say it like that. And now you have non-traditional students, particularly in the college and university space, being marketed to. Mm-hmm. They're an actual target market that a lot of universities go to. You have people taking online classes. You have a lot of people re-entering college after several years in their career. What are some of the tips, Lauren, that you could give somebody that's either in the embryonic stages of their career or re-entering the workforce with now a college degree? Because you work in HR, right?
I do.
So what are some of the tips that you can tell people when they're interviewing or when they're scouting out jobs and that kind of deal?
Sure. I think, one big thing is realizing that just like colleges are looking for these students, companies are too.
Okay.
There are really robust diversity programs now in a lot of the companies in Philly and across the United States.
Okay.
So just realizing that you do have something unique to bring to an organization that someone else might not have, and you have that resiliency because it was that much harder for you to get to where you are today versus someone who may not have had to work as hard in order to get to college. So bring that determination and resiliency with you, tell that story. I think that's really important because it is uniquely you. And then also, talk to people. I think that, these days the way that you get jobs is through networking. So, actually going out there, reaching out as much as possible. And I think that's something that one of the reasons I wanted to get involved with this program was to help students who may not have a network yet. It's like now you have a network of me, and now you have access to all of my network. So, feel free, look at who, I'm connected to, and, reach out to me and say, hey, it would be really great if I could have coffee with this individual, and, I'll make a connection and you can take it from there. But it's, asking questions, being curious, and just trying to get your name out there.
Wow. Stephen and Lauren, thank you so much for coming on the show. I look forward to hearing your symposiums at the retreat at Uncle B's farm. Stay tuned. We're going to take a break and we're going to come back and speak with 4 college students. So stay tuned.
Thank you.
Did you know?
Always Best Care specializes in helping seniors who wish to remain in their home but need assistance. Our flexible care programs vary from hourly to live-in. Simply put, we're there when you need us. And Always Best Care is a DPW-approved Medicaid provider. Call today and we'll meet with you to develop a personalized care plan. Always Best Care Senior Services. Doing more, caring more, and dedicated to exceeding your expectations. Always.
The idea for Collective Success grew out of my own personal experiences as a first-generation college student. Having come from inner-city Philadelphia, spent most of my life in low-income communities, I was in no means whatsoever prepared for the culture shock that I was going to experience.
Before college, all of the focus for me in my public school was to get to college.
But then the even bigger jump is going from college to the professional world.
I didn't feel like I had the social capital to really thrive in a professional setting.
What was missing was outside support and also not knowing how to ask and what to ask.
It's really about recognizing that getting into a university, even a prestigious university, even an Ivy League university, is not the end goal.
Why are people getting hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt without understanding how to turn that college degree into a professional career?
The numbers show that 24% of Philadelphia's high school students enroll in college, and only 10% are able to graduate. This is a terrible statistic. To realize that 6 out of 10 students who have the capacity to go to college aren't finishing. And this is where Collective Success can have a real impact.
Sometimes the decisions and the priorities that they make are not the wisest choices. That's because they don't have guidance.
And so by having Collective Success, I saw that as bridging the gap between first-generation low-income students with the majority of my peers at Penn. I saw it as like being able to connect with professionals who not only understand where we're coming from, but are also extremely committed to helping us and supporting us.
I think that having this mentorship and having people to look up to in itself evidence to people that they can really make it if they try hard in school.
We deserve to do this and we deserve to have these opportunities as opposed to feeling like we're lucky to have them.
What we're hoping is that we're going to have a stronger foundation of relationships across the business community, and hopefully have all these companies who employ hundreds of thousands of professionals become champions of what we're doing.
Recognizing the fact that all students are not equal in their starting positions. So we want to make sure that our students can succeed after they leave college. That's through laying the groundwork for professional success through networking, through professional mentorship. That's where we can really make a difference in these students' lives.
So it's definitely important in not only building a community, but also giving us the stepping stones to thrive in a professional setting.
Once we get our mentorship pipeline set up there, you're tapping into as many people as possible. There's no cutoff, there's no limit.
Make a difference in the lives of many. Please donate today.
Did you know?
Welcome back to the Did You Know Show. Sitting with me now are some phenomenal students from Drexel University, University of Penn, and Temple University that are a part of the Collective Success Network. I'm going to let them speak and tell you why exactly they're a part of Collective Success, what their majors are, and in some instances, what their goals are. Starting with Ania. Ania, you go to University of Penn?
Yes.
What is your major?
I'm a senior majoring in sociology and urban studies on a pre-law track.
Right on. So what do you hope to do?
So I really view Collective Success as an opportunity to empower other first-generation low-income students. I'm very fortunate to be going to such a great school in the community where I grew up. Out of my kindergarten class of 60, about 6 of us winded up going to 4-year colleges. And so for me to be a part of one of those 6, I'm always extremely lucky. And so I just wanted to be able to give back to other first-generation low-income college students and help them find their career fields and help them get mentorship. And that was, one of my big goals for joining Collective Success.
William, also from University of Penn.
Yeah.
What's your major?
My major is mathematical econ. I'm a junior in the college at the University of Pennsylvania, so it's been a little bit of an adaptive process.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what do you get out of Collective Success?
Collective Success for me, Penn was a very strong adaptive period for me, so it was really hard to get situated at the university. What helped me get my basis was talking to the first generation community a lot and interacting with them. Then after I got my basis there, I came upon Collective Success, and I met a lot of people that I've met throughout my years in Philadelphia since I grew up there. So I met a lot of old friends, and I made a lot of new friends too, like Ania over here. So like Collective Success has been like a giant family reunion, and on top of that, it has a lot of prospects to like get me connected to a lot of things beyond the University of Pennsylvania. So.
Right on.
Yeah.
As we move to the Temple, TU.
Hi.
Hey, Amy.
Hi, how are you?
Tell me about what your major and what Collective Success is to you.
I'm a junior majoring in health information management, and it's very simple why I joined Collective Success. I feel like it's a community that empowers other first-generation students. And as a first-generation student myself, I feel like there's a lack of resources that's supported at those schools. And hopefully by being a chapter at Temple First, I want to bring the same programs that we provide at Collective Success to Temple. And we want to pave a way for students to get the same support in academic support and resources and support.
And you're the co-president over at Temple,
yes.
correct? All right.
And I would never imagine being a co-president, never in my life. But being part, or just being a co-founder and co-president, I really learned how to persevere and learn how to lead a team. So I'm really thankful for my experience at Collective Success and Temple First.
Right on. Moving right on to Eileen. Eileen, Temple U?
Yes, Temple University. I'm also a junior in health information management major as Amy. And I'm also the co-president of Temple First.
Oh, right on.
Yes.
Okay. And then Collective Success, what does it mean to you?
So Collective Success, I see it as a resource to help first generation and low-income students because at Temple University, there's a lot of population of students who are first-gen and low-income students, and they don't know the resources around Temple to help them guide them through their way. Like when I told them about Collective Success, like how we have mentors, career coaches, and networking events, they were so interested and they want to be involved. So I just wanted to give back to the community, and they have a way to improve their academic and professional career lives.
All right. Mikey, fellow Virgo.
Yep.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell me what it is. You're at Drexel.
Yeah.
And you're the president at Drexel.
Yes, I am.
Of Collective Success. Go ahead.
So I am a third-year student out of 5, so we call it pre-junior over at Drexel, and I'm studying finance and business analytics. And the reason why I was drawn to Collective Success was that they really proved to me that you can create a community where you can have resources and also a family. So how I found out about Collective Success was actually networking at an event at Penn during my Welcome Week at Drexel, which is our orientation week. and I met Zwei there, and I connected with her, and she let me know, along with another Drexel student, that they wanted to create a community for first-generation low-income students there. And I was really drawn to that idea because growing up, I also felt the struggles of being first-generation low-income, and ever since I've been able to network with mentors and other students, and it's really been a great opportunity for me to grow as a person.
Right on, Mikey. Last but certainly not least, my G2, who helps me with my drone on the farm. G2, tell us about Collective Success, your mentor and your situation.
All right, so my name is Jishu. My major is in computer engineering, and I'm trying to get my double degree in computer science, focus in AI. And the main thing that drew me to CSN was the very fact that I am both first gen and low income. So going through the process myself, being from this background, has been a challenge, and it has also been a challenge to go further beyond for myself. So empowering myself through discipline, through trying new things out and striving forward is a process that I want to be a part of with other people who feel similarly about themselves. You know, they want to become the better self. So CSN has been an avenue for me to reach out to a community that may or may not want that, but definitely has been in a position where they, you know, would be at a disadvantage.
Well, thank you guys for coming. I am looking forward to our retreat at Uncle B's farm. Thank you to my guests, Zwei and Nancy, and then Stephen and Lauren. Thank you to Collective Success students. This is Brian Green tuning out. So I'm going to remind my viewers that check me out on Saturdays at 4 p.m. at WURD, 900 AM, 96.1 FM, where we continue our conversations of Did You Know? Did You Know is centered around connecting people to home, community, and business resources that you ordinarily wouldn't know about. Thank you guys for coming on the show, and I'll see you next time. Our next show is going to be with Overbrook School for the Blind. Thank you.
Did you know he'll help you understand? Did you know always a right-hand man? Did you know he's gonna make it clear? Did you know? Come on, listen here. Did you know? Did you know he'll help you understand? Did you know always a right hand?
The name Always Best Care has become the most trusted and reliable for in-home senior services. Our caregivers specialize in bringing families and friends closer together and putting smiles in the faces of each and every one of our clients by creating a fun and loving atmosphere. For an in-home healthcare provider that is built on genuine compassion and quality care, look no further than Always Best Care. Hi, I'm Patty Jackson. When I needed help with providing my mother physical and emotional comfort in her time of need, Always Best Care was a godsend. And you can rest assured that they will always be there whenever you call because they care.
They're tried and true. You can trust that they will always take good care of you. Always Best Care.
To schedule an appointment, visit abcphillybristol.com or call 267-909-9248 today.